Hi, it's Kassy. Today we're going to start at the beginning and walk through art journaling. All right, this is just video one of about a million probably, but I really want to introduce you more in depth to the Sizzix Studio and Royal Talens products that have been created to sort of work together to really get you involved in art journaling. And of course, you can use all the techniques I'm going to show you for many different things and many different ways, and not just art journaling, but this is where we're going to focus today. So I've got a bunch of supplies here, and I really want to start at the beginning and show you how to get started, how to make a journal page, and I'll probably talk through, why do we journal and what's it all about. So I've got a bunch of supplies here, and I'll walk through them as we use them, but I just sort of wanted to get things on my desk here. I like to get all my supplies in front of me when I get started, so then I can start, get my imagination flowing, have some inspiration. So first, I just want to show you, I have my silicone mat here. This is the Sizzix mat. And I have the registration tool here. And this, this has the stamping lid on it right now. What I'm going to do is, for now, I'm going to take that off. Okay, and we will use it later, so I'll bring it back, but just for now, I'm taking it off. Now notice this has the, you can see the more shallow hinge here, right? So we're going to add the new hinge adapter, and there is one side, maybe if I show you this way, see this side is a little bit longer than this side. This longer side goes in the back, okay, and the shorter side goes in the front, and you're just going to line it up over the existing hinge hinge on the base of this registration tool, and you're gonna press down. It's gonna click into place. When you're ready to take it off, just so I can show you here, I'm not gonna, well, we'll do it real quick. There are these two little hinge pieces back here, and you just kind of pinch them and push. All right, and your hinge adapter comes off. So I just want to show you how to take it off when you want to go back to just the more shallow hinge there. The next thing I want to talk to you about is this sheet of sticky paper I have on here. I've already put it on here, but this is our sticky grid, and it's double-sided. It's got double-sided adhesive. So on the back it's sticky, but it's plain. There's no grid. Okay, so this part sticks to the base of our registration tool, and then there is this cover sheet that comes off. So when you're going to use it, you take this off and you use this sticky grid to help hold things in place when you're stamping or stenciling or whatever you're going to do with this tool. And then when you're done, I like to put this protective sheet back on top of it so that when you're not using it, it's not going to get dusty or dirty or whatever, or collect things, because it is kind of sticky. So this just protects it so you can use it over and over and over again. Okay, so we're going to take it off because we're about to use it, but I'll keep that sheet handy. All right, so the next thing is the stencil holder. Okay, so this really is going to go, I'm just going to put it right here for now. Now notice it's higher up now because we've got our hinge adapter, and I've got some stencils and stamps that I've selected from different sets that we're going to be working with. Let me move those over for just a moment. We'll come back to those. And we also have the journal we're going to work in. Now this is a Royal Talens journal from their art creations line, and it's quite beautiful. I love that they have many different cover colors, and they have different sizes too. This one is more tall, and then I have another one here that's in blue, that's more is landscape. So this vertical, and this one is landscape, and so it's got the same kind of paper in it. All right, so they do have a variety of types of sketchbooks. And we are going to use it today to do some art journaling. So there are lots of ways that you can get started with your art journal, and I recommend having more than one. I've got, I don't know. I don't even know. I have so many, and I have many that I'm working in because some have different types of paper, and sometimes you're working on a page and it's wet and then you want to move to something else and come back. And so it doesn't hurt to have multiple journals. But today we're going to work with this one, and I just like to open up to any page. I don't particularly, I don't start page 1, page 2. You definitely could. You do it, you do this however feels right for you. But I'm going to start, I just pick a random page and I'm starting here. And because we've got the sticky grid on here, I can't move this. I mean, I can lift it up, it's not going to hold it down forever, but it really is stuck on there. So it's not going anywhere, which is really, really helpful. So I'm going to put my stencil holder positioner up here. Okay, so let's see. So now I want to show you, I did pick the stamp set actually is from one of the Cat Cur sets, and that is this set, and I believe this one's called Possibilitarian. Yes, okay. So the stamp set I picked from there, and I also chose the number stencil. And then from the Vic Holland set called Geometric, I chose these two stencils. I'm going to use the dots and those flowers together, and we'll just see. I don't really have a plan. When I sit down to art journal, I generally am doing it just for me, right? It's just like to get some emotions out of you or thoughts out of you, or sometimes you get new supplies like this and you're like, oh, I've never used acrylic paint through a stencil. I wonder how that works and what tools should I use with it and how is that going to turn out? And you have so many questions. I do, at least. And so so that's also a really good time to get your journal out, because your journal is just for you. Your journal is for experimenting, for playing, for figuring out those new tools that you have, or new techniques or ways to use things. Okay, so I highly encourage you, if you've never journaled before, get a journal. You can even get an old book, if you don't want to spend money on it, find an old book that you can turn into a journal and just, start creating in that. There are so many ways that you can start journaling. So, okay, so I'm going to pick my first stencil. We are going to use, this is one of the Vic Holland's geometric stencils, and they are numbered at the top. So hers, I think some of hers layer, and you of course don't have to. If you this pattern is just really pretty all by itself, you could just use it by itself, or you can layer them up. It's really up to you, but so then they are numbered also, so if that helps you. And then the other really thing that's cool about these new Sizzix Studio stencils is that they have those dots for using with your tool here on all 4 sides, so you really can decide which way it's going to go. I think that's super great. So let's see. I think I'm going to work on just a double layout. I have no idea what I'm doing. That's the other thing about art journaling is I generally come into the process with no plan, because I just want to play and see where it takes me. Okay, before I use the stencil, I am just going to start putting some paint down on the page. I don't know about you, but I sometimes look at this blank, beautiful, pristine page, and I have all these great colors and all this great stuff here, and I get frozen, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to, where do I even begin, right? That is, everyone struggles with that, and so I just want you to know you are definitely not alone there. So what I like to do to get myself out of that feeling and just start. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? Because ultimately this is your journal and you get to do whatever you want. So what I'm going to do, I've got this nice dark color here. I'm just going to put some dots here and there. All right. And there are a lot of tools you can use to move this around. I'm just going to play. I've got this fun brayer and spatula tool here from the Sizzix Studio line. from the maker set. And so I'm just going to start moving this color around. It's beautiful. It's not going to hurt anything. And it's just a great way to start getting something on your page. And I'm creating some interesting patterns here, right? With that, those dots that now got sort of squished and elongated. So now there's something on my page. It's no longer pristine, and some of the pressure is released from that, okay? At least for me. So then I wonder what would happen if I put some more of this darker color down, and what happens if I use my scraper tool to scrape it around. Ooh, look I get some really interesting, like, scrapey. Ooh, I love that. Okay. Look at this. So this gives you a totally different look, and this is the same color of paint, but notice how this is darker than this because of the way that I applied the paint. So this is what I want you to do. Just start playing. Just put some paint down on your paper and move it around however you want. You can use a paintbrush if you're more comfortable with that. You can use this palette knife or spatula, whatever. You can use anything you want, and it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter what it looks like, because we're just going to keep going. I've got this paper towel here that's been loved before, and I just wipe it here so that I can keep going, but I don't need to be too particular or pristine with with that. So now we have something interesting started in our background, and we can move from there. Next, I think I'm going to mainly work with these cool colors. So this is from the Amsterdam paint line from Royal Talens. We have ultramarine, I've got yellowish green, and I have turquoise blue. Okay, I've also got some white out, and I did bring a contrasting color of primary yellow. We'll see if we use it. The reason that I'm using these three colors together today, when we're talking about just beginning in art journaling, a lot of times people have issues with using lots of colors together and then maybe having like mud, happen or something, or just something that they don't really enjoy. And what I'd like to say to that is that if you start with either warm colors, which are like red, orange, yellow, or cool colors, purple, green, and blue, and just work with one or the other, when you're just starting out, you'll have better luck, okay? And you won't make mud really, because you're working on one side of the color wheel or the other. We might mix them up here today, but I will do it in a responsible way. This is acrylic paint, so when this paint is dry, it's permanent. It's not going anywhere. So I would say if you want to mix and have contrasting colors, which would be some cool colors and some warm colors together on the page, it is very visually interesting. But you want to make sure that one color is dry before you put the other color on, okay? So I am going to make sure this is dry, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, this is looking great so far. And notice all we did was plop some paint down and move it around. And we don't really even care what's happening here yet, okay? There's no pressure. Just keep it nice and light and easy. Okay, I'm going to bring this circle stencil in now, and I kind of want it to be right here. I'm going to move my book over a little bit just to line it up with that edge, and I think that looks great. And I'm going to put the circle stencil in a few places, but we're going to start here. So now I'm going to bring out my other tool from the Sizzix Studio line, and this is the sponge applicator. And I am going to put some of the turquoise blue. No, I'm going to do the green. Sorry. I'm just kind of figuring this out as I go. So I'm going to use yellowish green. I'm going to put some on my palette here, and I'm just going to squish some into my little sponge here. I don't want too much because I want to try to get a fairly crisp line, but I do want it to cover all the way. All right. So I'm just tapping, and I think that's pretty good. All right, and I want it to go all the way down the side. I think that'd be fun. So I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to move my journal a little bit just to line that up. There we go. And then I'm going to put some more paint down here, and I'm just tapping and pressing. And it definitely doesn't have to be perfect. I think one of the beauties of art journaling is that you can relax. You know, you don't have to worry about it being particular. Isn't that gorgeous? The ultramarine against that lighter limey green, or ultramarine blue, excuse me. So that looks great. And then I think I want to do the same thing. Let's see, I need to decide where it's going. So I'm gonna go right here actually. And you know, you kind of have to move things around so you get them where you want, but I think I want it to be right here. And notice I've got this vertical and now I'm gonna go horizontal. And you know, that's totally fine. When you're creating and you're just starting out and you're not sure about your composition or things like that, it's okay to have things going bi-directional. Just maybe try not to have things diagonal, you know, either only diagonals or you know, but keep everything perpendicular to each other. That's just kind of helpful tip for, you know, just not getting too chaotic in your layout. All right, so I'm just going over this and making sure it's really nicely covered. Okay, and I think I just want that to be over there. Okay, and then I also want to do a little bit more. Let me take this off. I generally like to go in 3 places. So I want it to be up here, but I'm not even going to do all of the stencil this time. So I just want to show you, you can just do little parts of the stencil. You don't have to do the whole thing. Okay, and there we go. So I'm just doing a little bit, so I have it in 3 places. I generally like to work in 3s, and that looks really great. All right, I don't want to cover the whole page with it, but I just want some of those fun green circles. Now this, you can go rinse this under warm water if you want. I don't mind. I don't mind it getting dirty. I actually kind of like it that way because then my stencils have fun color on them as I go about my business here. But if you are particular and want to clean your stencils, you can just rinse it under warm soapy water and you'll be just fine. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is just on a few of these, I want to put the flowers, and just a few of these dots, not all of them. Okay, but I need to make sure it's dry first. I'm just going to put a couple flowers here and there, and I'm going to use the turquoise blue paint to do this. And I don't necessarily, you know, I don't need it to be perfect. So I'm going to use the other side of my sponge because I've got a new color here. And I'm just going to do, I'm going to do one here, and maybe this one in this corner. Let's see how that looks. That's great. That's really great. Okay, and then maybe I'm going to do one. I'm just holding it because I'm really just doing like a quick thing here. I don't need to make sure it's, you know, lined up correctly. I'm just doing a quick little thing. And then I am going to put one more over here because I like to do things in 3s, and I want one on this side just to sort of keep things moving together. I do have plans for this flower though in a minute, but that's all we're going to do with that for right now. And then I'm going to bring out the numbers stencil because I want a totally different shape on here, just to sort of give us, you know, some more dynamic visual interest here, and just to shake things up a little bit. So, and I've got everything it's kind of mid-tone. Like this blue's a little darker, but most of it's kind of mid-tone, and it's all, you know, just organic kind of shapes. Well, I guess the circle's more geometric, but you know, we've got a lot of organic stuff going on here. So I think these numbers are going to help break that up a little bit and just give us some more interest. These numbers are from the Cat Kerr Possibilitarian collection. So you know that. And then I'm coming in with some white here. So this is titanium white. And I'm actually just going to use the green sponge side because it's fine, it doesn't matter. And I am going to just put some numbers here or there. Actually, we could use this for now so it stays in place while we're putting our next layer on here. The one thing I really would like to point out is that I'm making layers, right? So we put the dark blue down first and we put lighter colors on top of it. And there's no rules about that. Like, you can do it the opposite way if you want, but we're adding layers of shapes and things here. It just helps to give us more visual interest. And I don't even mind if this is going to be a light green. So now I'm just going to pick, okay? I'm picking spots and I'm going over, and I don't care if it's perfect. And I don't necessarily want it to be all the whole, even the whole row or anything, or, you know, in a particular order. I just want some cool stuff. I like that 5 all by itself. All right, let's see how that looks. That is fantastic. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Let's see, maybe I want to go vertical with these. So I'm going to move this down quite a bit. And I do really like to have this so that I can just let that sit. I don't have to worry about holding it or anything. I do need some more white paint, so I'm just going to put that on my on my mat here and sort of tap it off so you don't have too much paint or it gets kind of goopy. It could seep under the stencil a little bit. Again, it's not an issue, you know, if you don't mind it. It's not an issue, but just something to be aware of. All right, so I like these on the edge here. And remember, I'm just tapping. If you like, you know, what is that called? If you squish it down like that or smudge it or whatever, there also might be more of a chance of it going through. So if you swipe it, I mean. So that looks so good. So see how it's adding a different kind of visual texture here? Very, very cool. I'm loving this so much. Okay. I think I want... So I'm just going to go rogue here for a second. I think I want one little piece down here. So let me get some paint. Okay, and I think I just want a little tiny bit down here, going off the page, and oopsie, I moved my stencil. It's okay. It's just an art journal. It's no big deal. But look, that looks really cool. I like this. I love that random 5 right there. That looks good. Okay, so I'm digging this. This looks really great. So next thing I want to do is bring in a stamp. So I am going to stamp this big, beautiful face. Kat Kerr made some very gorgeous stamps here for us to use. I'm so grateful. And I am just loving this face, and I cannot wait to use it. So let's just get this whole stamp off of here. And it's going to go right here, but I have a plan, okay? And so I'm going to dry this, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to lay this down where I want it to be, which is right here. Oh, I love it so much. Okay. And then I am going to take my, my stamp positioner and put this down into my hinge. And remember, if you're using the stamp positioner to do this type of stamping, you want this like etched grid to be on the top side, not on the underneath. The underneath here, that's going to have the stamp stick to it, should be nice and smooth. Okay, so we're going to press this down so we pick up our stamp. So it's going to lay down exactly where we want. And then I'm just going to ink it up. I'm going to do that off screen. And I don't even really care at this point how perfect or precise this is, okay? But we are going to care later. So what I'm doing now, I've stamped it, okay? I'm going to lift this up, but I'm going to keep this stamp on this lid because, see, I didn't get everywhere, and that's okay, all right? We're going to fill this in and color it, and then we're going to go back over it and stamp on top. You'll see in the end, it's going to be great. So now I do want to switch to yellow. I want to have a yellow face here so there's contrast. It's interesting. And so now I'm going to bring in some of this yellow, and this is, yeah, it's primary yellow. So since we're switching color families, and going to a warm color from a cool color. I'm going to take this one off. I'm going to keep it though. I do rinse these under warm soapy water and just gently touch them with my fingers to clean them off, to get the paint out of them, so you can reuse them over and over again. So as long as the paint doesn't fully dry on here, but I'm going to get some of my refill blending sponges. All right, just get one out of here, and I'm going to put it on the end there. So I've got a fresh new sponge, and now I'm going to use the yellow. And so now I want to cover this whole face area with the yellow. Okay, you could definitely use a paintbrush or something else for that. But here we go. I'm just going to squish, and I want yellow everywhere. And we don't even care that we're covering the whole face, because we can go back over it later and re-stamp it, because I've left that stamp on the lid. So now it's in the exact right place when we're done here. Does that make sense? Hopefully. You'll see in a minute what I mean. All right. So now we can cover this whole face and add any detail that we want. If we want to do any shading, I'm just keeping it simple for today, just to help you get some ideas on how you can use these awesome tools together. And look at this yellow is a little bit translucent too, just the nature of the paint, and you can see some of those some of that background numbers coming through, which I think is really cool. So you could also swipe, but see how we're going to see more of what's underneath. I kind of just want to really cover all of it. Okay, and this yellow is just so beautiful and bold. Okay, so now I'm happy. I don't mind that it goes out. In fact, I want it to go outside of the stamped area a little bit. It's just a fun painterly kind of look here. I don't care about those swirlies. I'm going to do something different with those, but we've put paint all over. You could let this dry and do another layer. Maybe I'll do that so it can be even brighter. Okay, so it's nice and dry. We're going to go over with one more layer. Yellow paint just in general is generally fairly translucent. I mean, it depends on the shade of yellow, but it just naturally is more translucent than some other colors. And, you know, that's something that you learn over time from just using the tools and the paints and the colors. And that's another reason why I forgot to say in the beginning, but all the paints I'm using, obviously from Royal Talens Amsterdam line, they came in that 24 pack of paint colors, and it's just such a great way to get started if you are just even not sure what colors to choose, because there's so many to choose from. So this is a great way to get started. You can mix your own colors, and you can really start to see build a relationship with them and see what they can do and all of that. So we're good with this. I am going to, like I said, I'm not going to do any shading or anything like that, because I really just want to show you some of the basics here, but I'm going to dry it, and then we're going to re-stamp this so that her features come back forward. Okay, so now this is totally dry and ready. Now I'm going to use some of this Oxide Black Amsterdam line again, but instead of being paint, this is like a medium paint. This is an ink. Okay, so it's still acrylic, but it is much thinner, okay? And it comes in this nice glass pot, and it has a pipette built into the lid, which is super handy. You just squeeze the plunger there, and some ink will go into the pipette here, and you squeeze it out onto your mat, and then you can use it, and it comes in a gazillion amazing colors. So now what I'm going to do, I'm taking this off of the hinge here for just a second, because I want this to be in the shot. But what I'm doing is picking up that ink, okay, with my sponge, and I'm just going to tap it over the whole entire thing. Now, I did use stamping ink, and you could do that if you want, but it's so fun to play with the paints. You could mix paints, you could do like ombre type stuff. You could just make your own new color by mixing some paints, and it's just really fun to try something new. So I say give it a go. Make sure you've got ink everywhere, okay, and then put it back on the hinge, set it in there, and then now, because we have not moved our journal or the stamp, it's going to re-stamp in the same spot as before, and now she's going to have a lovely yellow face. All right, and if we, she's trying to stick. And now we missed a little bit of her eye, so you know what I'm gonna do is just put some more black ink on there. Let's see, which eye is it? Here we go. Put some more black ink on there and stick it down. All right, there we have it. So now we have this beautiful lady, and she is fully inked with acrylic paint. So now it's permanent when it dries. So it could, you know, you're not gonna move that around. If you wanted to use a acrylic paint pen to play over it and do some shading or whatever you wanna do, you definitely could do that, and you're not gonna affect this image. I do want to say one more thing. I just started cleaning this up, and I feel like I need to tell you. So I did say in the beginning, you do not need to clean your stencils from acrylic paint when you are using them. It's not going to hurt them because unless it's a super intricate stencil, then you might want to, but you do kind of want to clean your stamps. Now it might stain, you know, and that's totally okay, but if you're using acrylic paint on your stamps, totally okay to do it, but you do want to try to clean it, okay? Because over time, if you just keep putting acrylic paint on it over and over and over again, it could build up, and then it just, you know, your stamp won't perform as well as you want it to. The staining part is no big deal. It's just the paint sticking to the stamp area. Okay, so you can just take it under, again, warm soapy water in the sink and just give it a nice rinse and rub it with your fingers, and it'll be perfect and good as new. Okay, just a little bit of care there for our awesome products that we love using. So now we're done with the stamping. I'm going to set that back aside, and we will finish up our page. We're almost done here. I'm really loving the way that this looks. So one thing I haven't really talked about yet, and again, I'm going to just slowly try to introduce things to you because there's so much, you know, art journaling and mixed media are just so full, and there's so many options for you. And so I've got, sorry, I've been shaking this here. This is an acrylic marker, also from the Amsterdam line. And this is acrylic, but in a marker form. So, and this one is called Deep Gold, okay? So I'm just going to play a little bit with this marker and show you, ooh, I haven't even primed it yet. That's great. So when you first get it, you'll have a white nib here, and that just means that it hasn't been primed. So you just press it. You can keep pressing, or you can just press and hold. Everyone has their own way of doing this, and you know, no way is really incorrect. So you just want to press it, and you know, just check it. You'll see the ink starting to come through there. Check it every once in a while until you have what you want. So we've got this nice deep gold. Look at that. It's almost like a copperish kind of color. Wow, that's really pretty. I also have this silver one. I'm going to give this a shake. Sorry for the noise there, but I really want you to know, especially for the metallic ones, you want to give them a good shake every time you use them. It just gets all of the paint that's in here remixed together if anything separates or anything. This one I've already primed, but you would do the same thing. And I kind of want to use the silver. We've got a cool page here. I do love gold a lot, and maybe we'll do both, but I just kind of want to use the silver right now. I'm going to fill in, actually, part of me wants to do this whole swirl. Ooh, that's cool. Ooh, I love that. Okay, that's amazing. Ooh, I just love that. So good. Okay, so maybe I'm going to do the catch of her eyes in silver. That's fun. And maybe where there might be some highlights. You know, these acrylic markers also come in lots of colors. So you could get different colors and just paint right on your image. I just like to doodle and play around. It just helps to finish your page. So that's the silver one. I love the silver on her, but I also kind of want to use this deep gold one because it's so pretty. So let's, maybe I'm going to outline some of the flowers. Oh yeah, I have an idea too. I meant to do. I'm going to have to do it. Okay, so I'm going to just outline this one flower for now, see how I like it. This color is really beautiful and deep. It is definitely a deep gold. Look at that. And as it dries, you can see the metallic even more. Okay, I am going to do a couple flowers here with this gold one, just sort of playing around. When I'm done with my journal page, I often will put it away and move on to another page or whatever else I'm going to do. And then at some point later, I will come back and do my doodling with my markers, just because I generally like to make sure that everything on my page is nice and dry before I start doodling over top of it. Especially, you know, it also depends like on what doodling tool you're using. If you're using, you know, an acrylic paint marker or something, that's one thing, but some other things might not appreciate being, you know, used with a wet paint or wet surface. So you just need to be careful of that. I did say I was going to bring back these flowers, and I had an idea, and I want to see how it would look now. Let's see if this is dry. Not quite dry. I kind of want to have a flower on her head, or a couple flowers. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't that be so cute? Maybe even just one, like up here. Oh, maybe I could do a half of one. That's what I want. The full one feels a little big, but maybe since I've done this, maybe I'll just do this half of one. And I think I've got some turquoise left here. And so I think I'm just going to pull some of this up. I really don't like to waste paint. So let's just do this. You know, there's no rules here, right? So if you're like, oh, I just want her to have a little flower in her hair. How cute is that? Okay, it's a little messy. That's totally okay. We're going to dry it, and then we're going to outline it, and then she's got a cute little flower in her hair. I'm going to go back over the areas with the silver that were overpowered by this paint. Okay, nice. You know, there's no mistakes here. You can just keep playing and keep going over stuff until you're happy. And then, just like I did with these other flowers, I'm going to outline this flower. And again, I would wait until like everything's fully dry, and that sometimes takes a while. So just want to be careful. But isn't that so cute? Love it. So I think I'm almost done. I do have all this silver here, but it's nowhere else. So to sort of bring everything together, I'm going to use the silver, and I'm going to outline a couple of circles. And I don't need to be particular about it. You know what I'm saying? Just outline the circle. And that sort of brings the silver to other areas to help bring it around. Okay, there we go. That looks good. I just have this little word here, and I've got a block, and I just want to do some quick stamping on this page. It says trust yourself. It's from this set. It's just this little word off in the corner. I love adding words or phrases to my final project. Not always, but most of the time. I've got my black ink here again. I'm going to put a nice little pool of it over here. And I'm going to use the black ink to stamp with. I think it'll work great. And it doesn't need to be perfect either, okay? So I'm going to go right here, and I'm just saying trust yourself. And I'm just going to do it a bunch of times. And I don't need it to be in a straight line or anything. I just, oops, see, it can be crooked. I just think it'd look really cool right here as a counterbalance for this face, and just a really nice phrase to finish this page layout with. So today I used I did a double layout, right? I used both pages to do my layout. I just was really excited to get in here with all of these awesome new products and tools, and I really wanted to show you what's possible with just a few supplies and a couple colors of paint. And so, oh, look at that. I think I'm done. Doesn't that look good? I love it so much. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to clean this real quick. But anyway, what I'm saying is, you know, just with a couple colors and a couple colors of paint and a couple of shapes here, we're able to make a really fun, dynamic journal page. And there's just so much you can do. And this is just the beginning. So remember, we started by just scratching, you know, moving some paint on the background just so we didn't have a blank page anymore and it was less intimidating. Then we made some shapes in a different color. Then we layered on top of those shapes with a couple different other shapes. We did the flowers and we did the numbers, right? And then we decided what our focal point was going to be, which has already been chosen for us. Kat made this amazing face here, right? So then that can be our focal point. We do a little painting, add some little doodles, and your journal page can be done. And it doesn't have to take very long. You don't need a ton of supplies, and you can make something really, really fun and dynamic. So I really hope that you enjoyed this today. I'll be back with more journal pages and lots more techniques, lots more tools and mediums and all sorts of things for us to use. But I really hope that this encourages you to either get a journal out that you already have, go get a journal, buy a journal, make a journal out of an old book. I don't care, but get some paints, get your journal out, and just start creating. It's very therapeutic. It's very just transformative. It helps you play with your tools and supplies and build a relationship with them. It also helps you get emotions out. You know, there's just so much you can do with art journaling. So I hope that you enjoyed this today. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel so you don't miss future videos. We have a lot to explore here in the art journaling world, and I really would love to take this journey with you. Thanks so much, and I hope you have a great day.